Here's the problem I have, and maybe you can help me out, Dr. Watson.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I discovered is a lot of people are pissed off the Democrats. I'm pissed off the Democrats too. I rail against the policies of the Democrats. I don't think they're doing it nearly as much as they could be doing to rectify problems in this country as it pertains to black people specifically. But overall, people that are working class people, if they miss a couple of checks, the lights go off. Those are the type of people that they have not been helping. And that's a problem. But my thing is this. Sometimes we get so pissed off at Democrats, man, we overlook. We start sounding like Republicans or conservatives who support Trump or something. Because, for instance, you just talked about the January 6th Commission. You just talked about what happened there with the insurrection or whatever you want to call it, whatever title you prefer to use for it. And we have people saying, we need to just move on. We need to just move on from this. We have people on the left, people that consider themselves progressive, falling for Republican talking points about this. And I'm like sitting there going, hey, I'm not a friend of the do-nothing liberals. I'm not a friend of those. I'm not a booster for nonsense or for, how can I say, excuse me, this the inability to get things done where people just want to do incrementalism and nonsense and don't want to actually address black problems. But please, guys, this was serious business. With this insurrection, if that would have been black people, they would have never stopped talking about it. That shit would be talked about from now forever. Don't think that for a second, if it was a black organization that was in the Capitol, that they would not have had some type of commission. It would be all reversed. So
there have been congressional hearings within a week. Okay,
that's my point. But let me get hold on, Watson. Let me get to another point. So my thing is this, Dr. Watson. Have you noticed that some of us are making a mistake of defending the things we dislike because we're so aggrieved and bitter about what's not being done for black people?
Yes, that is true. And like you said, how on earth can you say these are people who tried to overturn an election and it was sedition? That was treason. What happened on January 6th? That was an act of sedition. You tried to overthrow the government. Now, I mean, if you're going to say this is okay to move on from this, you're setting a very, very, very dangerous precedent. I'm telling you, because if you think basically what you're saying is you're giving a green light to people who ever want to overthrow the government. I don't think this could be the last act of something like this happening. This could happen again and again and again. So they better jump on it now, because this is not just because that happened on January 6th doesn't mean something like that could not happen again. Heaven forbid if it did. I hope it does not, but that doesn't mean it could not happen again. And talk about letting it go and move on. I mean, that you just give it the permission and green lights for people to enact the civil act of sedition.
Right. And even broader than that, just I think people they do an overcorrection. They're like, hey, we don't want to be misused by the Democratic Party. We don't want the Democrats offering us just platitudes and rhetoric. We want actual policies. So they're so upset that they overcorrect, and now you're almost basically lining up behind Republicans.
Well, what you got to do.
Who don't want to do a damn thing for black people, right? Who are very dogmatic on doing anything. And so I'm like, the bottom line is people need to realize we don't really have a party. This is my opinion. Not Dr. Watson could speak for what his opinion is on this. I don't think black people truly have a party. Neither do I think, do poor people really have a party in this country? Do we really have a party for the working class or for working folks? I don't think we do. And we have to finally accept that, stop lining up with either team and just advocate for your people, your family, for your groups, and for legislation that makes your life better. What's your opinion on that, Dr. Watson?
Yes, I think to be honest with you, I think a third party in this country would probably be a very good idea. Because I think you're going to have that. I think it may very well come to that. I think 2024, I think the American public is restless. I just be candid with you. I think it's very restless, and I think there's something could happen in the next couple of years if things don't really change, because the wealth gaps in this country and things like that. People are getting fed up. You got the working poor. I remember it used to be 25 years ago. Well, I only had $50 left, whatever, but I got all my bills paid and stuff. Now you got people who are working and can't even pay their bills. You got people going to work and can't pay their bills. And that's just absolutely, that should not be the case. Going to work and can't pay your bills, just working to be working. And I'm just saying, to me, you're seeing that, and I mean like I said, in both parties, when it comes to the Democrat Republican Party, they're pretty similar in a lot of ways. I mean, they might have some fundamental differences about abortion and things like that as well, but both of them are in the pockets of Wall Street, and both of them in the pockets of, special interests and donors. I mean, there's not really too much that's going to really go on there, and they're not going to, that's what I'm saying, there are a lot of things they could really do. I mean, like, with working class people and students, like student loan forgiveness and all those type of things could really, really be beneficial. I mean, they could do, what that could do for the economy? I mean, about, getting rid of student loans, people buy homes, everything else. I mean, my philosophy is with the student loans, if they can bail out Wall Street bankers to the tune of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, they certainly can bail out student loan borrowers. You know what I'm saying to me? And I mean, that would be just, that would just do a lot for this country in many ways. And I think so. There, to me, it's just a matter of Joe Biden with the stroke of a pen. That could be an executive order. He could do that. And I know it's right after the election. People are like, you have all these articles, don't cancel student loan debt, don't cancel student loan debt. Well, I was like, well, why not? I mean, like I said, you be like those Wall Street bankers, you can definitely cancel student loan debt. The other things they could do, student loan debt, like I said, certainly, job benefit, child care, and all those type of things, issues that those things need to be addressed. Because I think and I think as time goes along, they're going to be forced to be addressed, particularly as the demographics in this country change.
And to that point, brother, I've had some people push back on student loan debt forgiveness. And, Tim Black, don't you realize more white people go to college than black people? They were the ones who would benefit more from student loan debt. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying it would solely benefit black people, but it would benefit us disproportionately more because though they go to school more, we have more debt than them. We have more debt. We borrow more money than most white folks. I've looked at the figures. This is just a fact. Look it up. So black women owe more student debt than any other group. I'm not saying that student debt forgiveness will resolve. I'm not saying it's a reparations for black people. It's not. But what it is, something similar to Medicaid for all or universal health care, we would disproportionately be impacted positively if we were able to get that done. It's not everything.
Going to those student loan payments could be going to house and mortgage payments, and it would help the economy and everything else. People going to, the economy would benefit, the society would benefit from it largely in general. So I don't care who's black or white. I mean, if it was only 10 black people that benefited from a student going to college. The reality is, wiping out the student loan debt for all those students, it would benefit the economy in general, and that would help black folks as well too. I mean, a strong economy eventually, even though we have systemic racism, black people might get the trickle in for the time being, but you still will benefit from a stronger economy. Right. You got to look at the whole picture, not just focusing on who borrows more money.
I think it's also to their point. I think they're talking about the racial wealth gap, right? So they say, well, if white people benefit more, the gap is only going to widen. I understand that, but we still move up. Because what I'm looking at right now is just a widening still occurring without us getting any benefit, without black folks being, most of our equity, most of our wealth that we did have was tied up in our homes, which were, many people lost their homes under the Great Recession, 2008 and 2009. 7, 8, 9, something like that. So
and loan frauds, adjustable loan rates and stuff. Yeah,
there you go. Exactly.
Predatory loans, But the key is advancement. You look at you keep your eye on the prize, and the key is you advance in that. As Ozzie Davis once said, we don't have permanent friends or permanent enemies in politics. You have permanent interest. Okay.
Boom.